Today's show, we're going to talk about Lake Superior State University releasing their 2023 banished word list.
Ooh, FAA grounds all domestic flights.
Yeah, and the National Park Service adds tongue contact to their warning signs.
Wow. And a dry January, or not.
Yeah, or not. Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
I ran across this because I was just looking at different, news articles and stuff. Evidently, this university does this list like every year. And
do they add to it or just readdress it?
No, they redo it, yeah.
Oh.
And I thought it was kind of funny to look back at these words from years past and think, do I actually say any of those?
Oh.
Did I at the time? And, oftentimes as we go through our year, we run into words that it seems like are overused.
But these are words that, we just can't say at this university, right? Or do they want me not to say it now?
Yeah, banned for all of 2023. Yeah. Banished, gone,
well,
can't say
anymore.
anymore.
Who the hell are they?
Well, I think this came from, I want to say, a whole bunch of students or people who were writing in and said that, hey, we need to get rid of these.
We got to stop listening to them college kids.
1,500 or more nominations of words and terms for this banishment list.
All right, they have way too much time on their hands. All right.
Yeah, do you want to hear something?
I want to hear, tell me something I should not be using at all.
All right, so top of the list is goat. You know what that stands for?
Yeah, it's usually a furry animal. My sister's got a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not the
greatest of all time.
Not the yeah. Or is that how? I think that's the sheep. I don't do animal noises very well. Yeah, greatest of all time.
I'll leave that alone.
And I have seen this a lot. My YouTube feeds me full of videos that has this acronym on there.
Right.
From basketball, talking about Jordan and LeBron James, and then in my world, the javelin throwers of the world, there's one current world record holder. It's easy to say that they're the greatest of all time so far,
right?
Because they have a distance.
And some of us just don't want to say the whole phrase.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, so I'm getting kind of tired of hearing it. And evidently, a large portion of the folks that wrote in don't want to hear it anymore either.
Wow. Well, it also makes a lot of other people feel real bad.
Because they're not.
Well, what if there's some little sheep around the goat?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying there's probably other people that work their butt off and they're awesome too, but they just haven't made it to the goat status.
Yeah, but really, if you think about it, how would anyone really know that they were the greatest of all time?
This is a title given to somebody. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you're like Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
He'll self-proclaim his own titles.
Yeah. The next one is inflection point. This one seems like it's a political term. I have not heard this a whole lot. Have you?
I'm not even too sure exactly what it means, because sometimes you'll hear these things, and if I take it for what it means, it may not mean that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that exactly means. Do you have a little bit of something you could share?
Yeah, I'll read the definition here. It says mathematical term that entered everyday parlance and lost its original meaning. This year's version of the pivot, banished in 2021. Oh, see, there you go. The chronic throat clearing from historians, journalists, scientists, or politicians. Ubiquity? I don't even know what that word means.
Well, has
ubiquity, I guess, has driven me to an inflection point of throwing soft objects about wherever I hear it. It's, inflection point has reached its saturation point in point of departure, proclaimed another pretentious way to say turning point, overused and misused.
Yeah, see, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean what it says it means.
Yeah.
Or,
I haven't heard this a whole lot, so I'm like,
it looks like little people are listening.
I guess so.
They're like, all right, we're not using this term.
No.
I think they stopped using it lots of years ago, though.
Well, number 3, quiet quitting. I've not heard that either.
Oh, well, I have. There was a lot of that going on. In fact, my place of business, there's a lot of people that just kind of up and left. Quiet quitting means they just didn't say why.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a lot of people that has left a lot of the workforce, and they're like, but why? You didn't do an exit review, You didn't see why they're leaving. there's a lot of, but is it helpful?
Well,
What about the people that go out and freaking kick over stuff and say, this place screwed me over. You owe me 40 grand. At least you know, damn, this place owes them 40 grand. At least you know why.
yeah.
Leaving, there's a lot of people coming in going, am I like standing on like a false floor? What's going on? Why did everybody bail? I feel uneasy. Should I feel uneasy?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, as you describe it makes sense. I've heard that happening a lot. I just didn't know the term.
Yeah, they had to make a term for it.
Quiet quitting. Yeah. Gaslighting. Now, I've heard this one a lot.
Yep.
I don't really fully know, like, the way it's been used in politics. It's been used a lot. And CNN has it across, all of their different commentators constantly.
Yeah.
And I don't fully think that it's used appropriately. I figured gaslighting was like if something was really toxic, like, the gas is really starting to get thick, and then someone just suddenly lights it and everything just goes boom.
Sounds right? But if I'm correct, it's more like, hey, Scott. But yeah, it's also, but I hear it all the time. Nobody ever really says, well, it's gaslighting due to this. They just use it throw it out as an excuse to, or not wanting to answer a debate. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's just gaslighting. And they move along. I'm like, why don't you discuss and go deeper why you think it's gaslighting and what it does to you?
I just thought gaslighting was something that should be a lot more serious, really serious, and it's just used as like, it's like not a big deal. Because it's because it's overused. Maybe that's why it's on the list.
Like literally.
Let's see.
It's literally overused.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just kind of reading the definition. Well, it's not even a definition. It's just their description of it. Nominators are not crazy by arguing this overuse disconnects the term from the real concern it has identified in the past. Dangerous psychological manipulation that causes victims to distrust their thoughts, feelings, and memories or perception of reality. Others cited misuse as, an incorrect catch-all to refer generally to conflict or disagreement. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm seriously going to have to get LASIK, Dave.
I've been
our little monitor thing here, I still have a hard time seeing it.
Well, I wish I'd get a kickback for it, but I think about it all the time, and I think you would be for sure one of those people that would wake up going, oh my gosh.
I can't believe
I would have paid double this 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
I know it sucks. I know it's money, but I know it'll be, I paid what? Money? I did? After the fact. I know you'll be like, who cares?
But I have one of those like health savings accounts, so I've been accumulating.
Ooh.
So I actually have enough in there right now. I probably
maybe you should do it before June. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would probably enjoy vacation a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, okay,
nice.
that's actually number 5 on the list.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah, moving forward, I hear this a lot at work.
So I wish there would be a few of them on here. Maybe we'll get to them. But moving forward or circling back, or I know that those are obviously two things. One of them is but oh my gosh, do we have to use it in every aspect of life? My wife be in there cooking. All right, I gotta separate the eggs. Okay, I'll put this over here. I'll circle back to that later. I'm like, no, circle back. You can come to a square.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
overused.
And you know what? It might even have been a good term to use. At work they use these terms. Well, let's look at the dashboard. Oh, no dashboard. Let's come up with something else. I don't know. It's just overuse. Yeah. It really kills.
You need like one of those a thesaurus or Grammarly, and then give you alternative words to use.
We need to trademark it so nobody else could use it.
Yeah,
this is ours. Go get your own freaking thing, so we don't have to,
like the happy birthday
spread it
song.
around. Yeah.
Okay, so number 6. Unfortunately, I use this all the time, and I agree it should mean something a lot bigger than I say it is. But amazing.
Yeah,
that's number 6
because it is an amazing word. But I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
I think most people will probably agree that it's totally overused.
Yeah. What should we? We use it in the place of, hey, that's all right.
That's aight.
So that makes the people that are C average people. Hey, what do you think? Oh, that's amazing.
That's kind of what it means now. That's all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one I use a lot, number 7. Does that make sense? And I actually sincerely am asking that question. When I'm coaching, when I'm explaining something to someone at work, I want to get confirmation that they understand what I have just presented to them. And so I always say, does that make sense? And I sincerely mean it. Oh, there's a cough.
Excuse me. Apologize.
Where's our cough button?
I know. Well,
I don't think we have one of those.
Well, I'll have to get one.
Yeah, our producer retired, so there's no cough button.
Yeah, lucky dog.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
So the people that put this list together, were these students or faculty?
No, it's just a whole bunch of people submitted it to the university because they do this every year.
Oh, these are just people in general. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then it was like family food. They took the highest numbers of people that.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. So in this day and age, I'll say it this way then. There's a lot of people that wouldn't want that. Does that make sense? Question to be asked of them all the time. They just want to go with it. I said it, didn't I? Didn't make a lot of sense though. Yeah.
That's why I say I'm always sincere about when I ask this question. I actually want them to respond to me, whether they understood what I was saying.
It's an opportunity to show that there was understanding and a way to grow. I don't know.
I think it's super important. All the time. Yeah, it's super important to.
I might change the term a little bit, but
I'll have to get
picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
You smelling what I'm stepping in? Huh? Something.
I like those ones.
Well,
yeah, I use that with my kid. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Dad,
you stupid or something? No.
What are you talking about, Dad? Okay, this one is annoying to me, but I have not heard it a lot. I think people understand.
Irregardless, Scott, you're going to tell us. All right?
Which is number 8, irregardless. I think it's actually regardless, not irregardless. I don't even know if it's a word, but that would be like a double negative.
Well, that's what I was. Well, that sounds about right. I'm shocked it's not like unirregardless.
Unirregardless. Well, we got to start using that. Maybe we can make the 2024 list. Well, unirregardless.
I mean, I'm willing to make a list for myself to say, never say this again, Dave. Never say that again, Dave. Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, we've talked a little bit about our self-awareness, and I've been working on it, but I still say this stuff and know that I'm saying it. I continue to say it. This one's pretty often used. It's number 9 at absolutely.
Oh, yeah. How many people will just say absolutely? They don't get it at all. All right, we all understood absolutely. And they walk off. That means like crystal clear.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Like I can see all these people don't want to have anything to do with clarity.
Yeah, maybe a lot of people are thinking that people are talking down to them.
This is a big one for me here, this next one. Because everybody uses it, and this one will never go away.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it was banished in 2008, too.
See, I'm right. It was banished.
Yeah, my buddy Jeff, he makes a joke about this. Yeah, it is what it is. It's ongoing.
So I watch a lot of court shows from Judge Judy to Judge Mathis, People's Court, all that. And they often ask, talk to the people after the verdict and stuff. Oh my goodness, 98% of them, it is what it is. Yeah, but do you have feelings about it? Yeah, they are what they are. Okay, so are you going to bother them? Are they who they are? Like they have nothing to say.
Yeah. There's nothing else to say.
This whole world, everybody could survive just off of, just captions, what people, just little words, can't think of the right terms, but everybody has their little talking points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their whole lives could be just talking points, no thought of their own. Absolutely.
Yeah. Irregardless if they're gaslighting something amazing.
Right, well, moving forward, Scott.
That's hilarious, Dave.
I'm going to do some quiet quitting right now.
All right. Dave and I appreciate you listening to the show. Please take a moment and write a review on Apple Podcast or podchaser.com. And since Spotify doesn't currently have reviews, simply telling your friends about the show would be great too. Also, you can always reach out to us at our website, nevertooserious.com, or via our socials at the NTS Podcast. And seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thanks again for listening to the show. So in other news, did you hear about the FAA shutting everything down, all domestic flights?
No.
Oh, well, you got to watch this video.
I don't know if I want to. That scares me.
Here we go.
Thousands of flights and tens of thousands of travelers are still being impacted by a system-wide shutdown of the commercial airline industry.
The FAA took the drastic step of grounding all domestic flights this morning when a critical information system for pilots went down. Now the president and the Secretary of Transportation are being asked, or rather asking the FAA, what went wrong. Jeff Patterson joins us live. He is at Tampa International Airport. Jeff?
Good evening, Stacy and Keith. The system-wide shutdown happened early this morning, but take a look at the flight board behind me. Still lots of red up there signifying many delayed flights impacting travelers here at Tampa International Airport.
We're hearing that everything is grounded domestically.
They were among thousands impacted by the FAA's decision to ground all takeoffs. The FAA made the decision to ground all flights when a critical system that provides pre-flight information to pilots went down.
This is a very big deal.
Captain John Cox is a retired airline pilot, the former head of the Airline Pilots Association and a safety expert. He says pilots must have pre-flight information provided by the NOTAM system.
Man, do you really need that crap?
What about the olden days when they're just out there directing stuff?
Guy out there and just pulling down a prop.
Holding the lantern.
Roll on two. All right. Wow, that is a big deal. When was this?
Yeah, this was last Wednesday, and it was a huge.
Where the heck was I? Must have been working.
Well,
close to the grindstone.
East Coast time, it was like 7 a.m.
Yeah, see, they were up there. That's why.
Yeah, and so we didn't see as much of it, but it was still a big deal because this is the first time since 9/11 that the FAA has shut down all air travel.
Right, and I'm not too sure, but I don't know if we really have parking spaces for everybody. Like the parking we have is for knowing that you're going to be out of here soon, so you can sit here. So when you like shut it down, you're like, you guys got a problem up there. We're all taking all the space down here. I mean,
well, think about
joking a little bit, but not.
Well,
not
but think about like the ramifications of like all of the other connecting flights. Like it's such a scheduled thing that you get one delay and it impacts all these other things. And there's a certain amount of leeway you can kind of get away with in some of these things where, you know, you can leave a little bit faster, you can fly a little bit faster, you can, you know, cut some corners. But when it's delayed, in this case, they were getting bad information for hours, and then finally the FAA just shut it down, and they were down for it was like an hour or two, and that's a significant impact.
A ripple effect,
nationwide.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like to the point where they were so concerned about the bad information that was going out that it could be a safety issue.
Oh, I totally could see it.
I don't get, well, okay, so they did say that the cause of the problem was a technical glitch. It was some corrupted file in a database, and it wasn't providing information as it was supposed to, and then they just got to the point where they just like had to shut it down and correct the problem.
So like employees, you got a file that was working great just one day, and he decided to give up and not produce like it's supposed to, and like put his feet up on the desk and not perform?
They were kind of vague in the real details of it. There was some question whether this could have been like a cyber attack.
Well, because that's what I was getting at is, how do all of these systems work, and then all of a sudden, I'm not going to work as well today. You know, I mean, something. Mm-hmm. I mean,
well, they did.
It's not like it's a metal rod that's going to rust out and fail eventually. So it's weird to me. I feel like something has to be tampered with.
Yeah, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, you know that guy?
Move along.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's move forward.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
This guy came out and made a statement about, you know, it was the right decision to shut it down and all this stuff. Well, but then he also then said, no, there's no evidence right now that it says that it's a cyber attack. But then he talked about the backup process. Like the backup should have prevented this from this shutdown taking place. Like, there should have been systems in place. Why weren't those systems functioning? Because, you get computers, you get servers that go down, but there's always some sort of redundancy.
What were they hiding?
Yeah, what was happening?
They shut it down so they could let something big pass through, and I don't know.
This is where the aliens come into
Well,
the picture.
I got to find something entertaining. This whole monotonous same old,
So the system is called what is it? NOTAM. I can't remember how they pronounce it, but it's Notice to Air Missions. And I heard rumor that this used to be called Notice to Airmen, but they changed it to missions. But this is like a super important system that tells people what to expect when they're coming into an airport, if there's construction on the runway, if there's cranes someplace, if there's these communication beacons are down. There's all kinds of stuff.
Communication is everything up there.
Yeah, being an air traffic controller seems like probably the most scary, dangerous job out there without actually physically being on some dangerous...
There's a lot riding on your shoulders.
There's a lot, yeah. Yep. Yeah. And with all the technology that's being used, and like each airport or airline at each airport has their own system, but those systems communicate with what the FAA is providing in the system. And I'm just really surprised that there wasn't some sort of redundancy to keep it from happening.
Well, that is a very good point. And why they don't have a couple, if not, why just one safety net? Why not a couple?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, as big as it is, and as the potential danger that it is, you would think there'd be multiple. And I didn't think about it when we were just talking about it, but yeah, when our guy was talking about the possibility. Sorry, I'm all messed up with the Mr. Butt Edge. I can never say his name right.
Yeah,
but he was kind of onto something there.
Yeah. Well, and I was watching a newscast from some Canadian channel, and they have the same system for warning, and their systems were working fine. It was just the U.S. system, the FAA system. So, yeah. But they did say that it was like a super important
China
thing. So, yeah, that's... Yeah. I don't know. To me, like, I had on my list of, like, why don't they have something like the Weather Service has, where it's a broadcast that's very specific to this thing, and, when you're within range of the airport, you would get alerts of what to look out for, or a website feed. Where in the world of everything's got internet, those planes have internet. Why wouldn't they be able to have some sort of feed that's coming in?
I know.
In regards to that airport.
I don't understand. You come up with ideas that can actually be programmed in to make life completely easy and safer.
Mm-hmm.
And people just go, that's not the system we have. We have to use the system we have. Nobody wants to take a step forward on anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so anti-American.
Well, there's going to be more information that comes out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have more details of what actually happened in why that particular file or database was corrupted, but maybe
it is what it is.
All right, moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, here's another interesting story. California is going through all kinds of weather, like flooding and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the news as I was driving home, I think I was just driving home from work, and I was listening to the news people talk about, like, interview people in California, and they were talking about how much rain that they were getting on the streets, and it was like this.
It's foreign to them.
Armageddon, yeah. And I'm thinking here, I'm in Oregon, and there is so much rain constantly here. It's not that big of a deal. We still get flooding, but I was like, we don't really complain about it that much, except for...
It's expected.
Yeah.
We might go out there going, geez, let's go. Let's stop already.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's part of life.
Well, so then I started to see how much water, and by the way, in some cases, it's a good thing because their reservoirs, they've been on the, dry, what do they call that? Where they're not getting enough water.
Drought?
A drought.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
For the last 68 years.
Yeah, for a very long time. Yeah, and their reservoirs keep shrinking and shrinking, and this is actually starting to fill them up, and in some cases are overflowing.
They're probably going to find a way to complain about it, though. Well, at least it cleans up a lot of them streets.
Yeah. San Francisco.
Yep. Down the drain.
Okay, so this
what's going on?
This guy evidently had his Prius parked alongside the road, and one of the hillsides lost a few boulders.
Oh, man.
Now at 10:30, a huge boulder tumbles off a Malibu hillside and lands right on top of a car, crushing it.
Micah and Sharon happened just up the road from where we are standing here along PCH in Malibu, but that hillside tonight still unstable, really unsafe for us to be there. But we did talk to the owner of that car.
I just heard loud crashes.
Maurizio Haynau can't believe it.
And I ran out and I saw my car just crushed.
A 4-foot boulder tumbled down a Malibu hillside and landed on top of his Prius.
The rock is the size of the whole hood.
Yeah.
The windshields are all broken and like the frame of the car is just all twisted.
The car was parked along the 20,000 block of PCH in Malibu yesterday. That's when the hill started to slide. Mud and rocks crumbling down onto the road. Nobody was injured, but just moments before, Haynau was in the car, ready to drive away.
I was in the driver's seat, walked out, got a call, ran back inside, came out, and the car was just
Mother Earth is like,
he's convinced
this close.
that
Darn
phone
it.
call saved his life.
Almost got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what the hell's wrong with his car? Did his front hood looks like it was caught on fire prior to this situation?
He's got some paint problems. It looks like the front of his car was on fire.
Looks like it might have an electrical situation.
It's not a new Prius, I don't think.
Well, I'm just wondering, was it parked there?
It was parked
or was
there.
it abandoned there? Yeah. I mean, was it running?
Well, this was in Malibu, so I don't know. I haven't been in Malibu, so
I will tell you this. I'm going to speculate here. So that rock, that boulder, really wasn't that big. I mean, it was probably what, 2.5, 3 feet around.
They said it was 4 feet.
4 feet around. Yeah. I mean, we're talking a couple ton right there. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge. That probably weighs twice the car. That rock.
Well, it is a Prius. I don't know.
Oh, the batteries
are pretty heavy. Yeah.
But
yeah, you can see like the entire roof is caved in. That guy would not have probably survived.
Nope, not at all.
That one.
Nope.
He was fortunate that he got that phone call and was not in his car at the time. Yeah, I have. So when I was a kid, I was really nervous about trees falling over. When I was a kid, my grandparents' place, we had this huge storm, and my parents and my brothers and I were living on their property at the time. It was like 14 acres out in the woods. And this windstorm came in, and it blew over trees like crazy. You could hear them crashing in the woods. And so that night, we ended up leaving and staying at the local church in that area. I think my dad might have had keys or something to that. Anyway, when we came back, the trees had fallen all the way around the trailer that we were living in at the time, and one of the limbs had come down on top of his work van.
Wow.
But it was just amazing that there were so many trees that had fallen, but none had landed. I mean, it's like a tin can. We were not staying in a house. It would have been a disaster. So it was good that we didn't stay there that night.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have this nervousness about it. We talked a while back about my nervousness around lightning because I've almost been hit a few times. So wind and lightning freaks me out. And
all the acts of God, Scott. Out of tornado set you off.
I know. It's going to follow me whatever state I move to. When the family, we left for Christmas and stayed down at the Oregon coast. And we also had another storm. And it turns out that there were some trees that came across the road on one of the highways going to the coast and killed some people. And it was a big deal. I think it made it national news. So, you know, it's no joke. There's some crazy weather happenings, and especially if you're like this guy, you could tell he's on the side of the hill. You know, it's obvious that in crazy storms, like the soil starts to loosen up, you're gonna have stuff coming down. And boy, that was a big one.
You don't even know where. You don't even expect it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there was a father and his 2 kids got killed from a tree coming down.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible. Yeah, and such a crazy timing of something like that happening, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. So,
the hell is that?
Okay, so this next story, NPR is reporting on it. The National Park Service wants humans to stop licking this toad.
I will not. I will not stop. It's my right.
And you can see a picture of the toad right here.
Are they asking on behalf of the toad? Or is this something that they think is best for the toad? Because every toad I've licked never complained.
Never
I've licked many a toad. Is this a problem, Scott?
It is a problem, it is funny because they got to the point where the National Park Service had to add tongue contact on its warning signs. Like, you're not supposed to lick stuff.
How are they knowing that this is a problem? How do they know?
Well, evidently, this toad secretes this toxin, and this toxin can be a hallucinogenic.
Sure. And
so it's illegal to have these and use them because it has the same stuff like DMT. It's kind of like that, and so it's a powerful hallucinogen, and people will get these toads just to have them at home and to get.
So I got a job, dude. I'm gonna go downtown. I'm gonna have a couple of these frogs in a baggie, roll up. Hey, I'll sell you some of this. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like selling them like baby powder instead of Coke. It's not even the toad. It's a frog sucker.
They wouldn't have no idea.
They would have no idea.
Be licking on that frog.
The man can't lick it right now in front of me, man. Yeah. I'm going to get us in trouble.
They call you up.
That's it.
It's not working. Well, did you try licking its toes? No, I didn't. Okay. Well, call me back if that doesn't work.
So for me about this is I get it. I know that they've been doing this for years and years and hundreds of years in other countries, Aborigines or whatnot. But I mean, is there that many people going down there doing it where they got to like put out a freaking, an afternoon show, a warning about let's not be licking? Because I mean, I believe that you probably could get killed. It's a poison. That's why they.
Yeah.
So I imagine if you lick double dose the toad, you double lick them or lick them in the wrong spot.
They say that just by touching it with your hand, you can get sick. But then if you touch it with your hand, that's kind of like more protective layer than your tongue. So if you can lick it and not get sick, I guess it depends on how big of a lick you're talking about. But it's called the Colorado River toad.
Good to know.
About 7 inches in size. And it says carries a weak, low-pitched rabbit sound.
I heard size doesn't matter, though.
No, it doesn't.
But it carries that pitched when licked?
No.
Or is it always?
It's their calling card. Yeah.
Oh, that is funny, Scott.
I just thought that it's so funny that they would need to now put this on a warning sign.
That's getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm. It is. It makes me curious, though, because the idea that 60s and 70s was kind of like a drug culture. Mm-hmm. And I think now it's even more so because things are more legal. This frog evidently is illegal, and the toxin that it produces is still illegal. It's like, what do they call it? Stage 2 narcotic or drug or something. I don't know too much about drugs.
I get 20 years in jail for a toad. My bad.
Yeah. I guess there's a demand for them on the street.
Good to know.
They were talking about Mike Tyson and, who was the other guy? They had talked about doing this, like, getting high,
getting a toad and licking it.
Yeah,
sounds like a Joe Rogan conversation.
Yeah, that's true. Another one. A man catches sausage roll in his mouth for Guinness World Record.
So, is it man? Is that what makes it a world record?
It's evidently like almost twice the distance of the previous world record. There are some really weird Guinness Book of World Records. Have you ever seen those books? Mm-hmm. Like when I was in school, that was like my favorite book to get.
You used to go see the big fat the twins on the little motorcycles.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, the tallest man.
They make bigger motorcycles. They had to find those motorcycles to make it.
The most tattooed, human and most pierced human. And
it's been a while since I looked them up.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated by. There's some different YouTubers out there who do a series and they just try and break world records. And Dude Perfect is one of them. Have you heard of those guys?
Yes.
Yeah, they're entertaining. I like watching them. But it's funny because they make the whole process really fun for the audience to watch. So
this is a sausage catcher.
Yes.
Is his name Lamar?
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if I heard of him.
Yeah. It's actually a very small sausage, but it's a wrap sausage, so it's like a breaded sausage. And
is it like a little Vienna?
It looks like, maybe that size, but wrapped in like some sort of breaded thing.
Like a pig in a blanket?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they threw it was like 80, 83 feet, 10 inches.
Hell, we could beat that.
Well, so that's why I brought this thing up, Dave, because I think we could beat it.
I've been beating little sausages like that for years.
Yeah. And I think they posted a video of them doing it. The video is not really well done. It's not even worth watching here, but I think we could probably do a better job of it, and we could certainly beat that. Now, I'm not sure who would be throwing the sausage and who would be catching the sausage. So maybe that's a different conversation.
I've never thought of myself as the catcher, but
we'll have this conversation off air, Dave.
Hey, I have been known to catch a couple of catch a few things with my mouth from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that would be a fun, interesting. I ain't got nothing else better to do on my day off.
It could be an inflection point in our careers, Dave.
I don't really want to. I might have to. I don't want to get lodged in the back before we do, because we're smarter than them. There's this really awesome de-choker, anti-choking device that's out there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but you could take it yourself and put it over your mouth and pop it out. We need to get one of those just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Last thing I need is a little weenie stuck in my back of my throat and I die. I don't need that on my tombstone.
Yeah, I know how to do the Heimlich though.
As long as you get your arms around me to squeeze.
Yeah. Well, if we did get the world record, then we would be like, the goats of sausage catching.
Absolutely. So, you're right. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Irregardless, it'd be fun to try anyway. Okay. Next one. This was a little bit closer in Washington, and I didn't know that this was a thing. $553 ticket for driving with snow on the windshield. We don't get a whole lot of snow here.
Nope, but when I do, I usually just. I will say this. I usually do just clear off my windshield, but there were times where I just try to make a little submarine hole and just look up, which I guess isn't that smart, especially considering that the roads are all crappy at the same time. But I've only cleared off a little bit and bailed.
I didn't know that this was you could actually get a ticket for it, but because we do have frost in our neck of the woods, and some people are kind of like they just got to get going, don't realize that they've got it on their car and they got to get to work, and so they just
it all the way to work.
Yeah. I mean, some people aren't too bright, and they put hot water on the windshield, and then they find themselves cracking their windshield. But
do you know what I do? Before I decided to park in the garage, no, I just started parking in there a little bit ago. But I always have like a little half-gallon milk jug, and I have water in it, and I have it sitting in the house. It's always just lukewarm.
Yeah.
So
it's not hot
I can
water,
just dump it on there, takes it out, off, and no crackage.
Yeah, I've done the credit card trick where I just use the edge of the card and scrape it off. But
I've broken one before doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So this guy, evidently he was driving for miles. Someone reported him, and they found him in, I guess, second-degree negligent driving. Wow. It's a thing, Dave. It's a thing.
Well, I will be sure not to do that ever again.
It is what it is. Okay, a dry January or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found a news article because it's the new year and people are making all kinds of New Year's resolutions. And some people, in fact, a lot of people that I've talked to recently, I'm like, yeah, maybe we can get together. We'll go, have a pint or something. And they're like, oh, no, it's like a.
So we're not talking about weather?
No.
Oh.
No. We're talking about drinking alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm not having a dry January. I just don't feel like it was necessary.
I don't know if I'm trying to think, not saying it's a good thing necessarily, but how many days were dry in January? Because I feel like January's been around for 12 days, but thinking there's been about 15 days that weren't so dry.
15 days.
Oh, goodness.
Well, okay, so the reason this article caught my eye, it's not just because there are, people are actually trying to do this, the sober January deal, but because I really like craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this article, the title says, A Golden Age for Non-Alcoholic Beers, Wines, and Spirits. Now, I've had non-alcoholic beer before. Have you ever had non-alcoholic beer?
Yep.
O'Doul's was like one of the originals. I mean, there was other stuff they called near beer.
They have the roots.
Yeah, the root beers of the world.
Those are non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
But no, I have. But
I don't think they taste very good. Although there was a brewery, I want to say it was a local Portland brewery, that had a quote-unquote non-alcoholic beer. Now, it's less than 1%, and I'm not sure technically at what percentage it counts as non-alcoholic, but it was actually a pretty decent IPA. It was very hoppy. There was a nice kind of hoppy kick to it, but it didn't have any alcohol punch, of course, and the flavor. Alcohol actually will increase the flavor.
And the reason to drink in the first place.
That's a good point, Dave.
I don't know. I don't know if I sit there I enjoy my alcoholic beverage of choice. I like the flavor of it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But would I have it if there was no alcohol in it?
No.
Well, I go, this would be fantastic if I had a nice lemonade right now. No.
I still think you would. I still think you would like it because the flavor I think is yeah. You want to tell the audience what your beverage of choice is?
Oh yeah, I like my gin and tonic.
Yeah. As do I. I think they're fantastic.
I think they're amazing myself.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that you could probably get that piney essence of gin in with that tonic water and a whole bunch of lime.
Flavor, yes. But I think that the 80% of America why they drink is effect first and it tastes good too. Fucking hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say this. I usually don't sit there and have a beverage unless I might want to get a little something out of it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there are times where I need to be productive, but I like to have a beer. I really like my IPAs. And so I will buy like the really low percentage IPAs, the ones that are at like 4 or 5%, just because I can have a couple of those and it doesn't impact, when I'm editing the podcast and I forget to bleep out something that you said. So I will still drink beer even if it doesn't have alcohol, but it still needs to taste good. It still needs to taste like a decent IPA. Anyway, so there are breweries now that are doing this, and I thought, they said spirits. Kentucky 74 spiritless bourbon, 0 gin alcohol. Chardonnay that's had the alcohol removed. 0 proof margaritas. Now I can understand a 0 proof margarita because, again, there's that nice citrusy kick that you can get out of there.
Or you could just go get a slushie down there at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like, to me, trying to have a Mel Brooks movie without a cuss word in it. It sounds terrible.
Sounds terrible, yeah.
It sounds like they're trying to go vegan or something.
I don't know. I'm curious on how they do some of this. Like, I don't know how you would get bourbon.
I'll tell you
spiritless.
Have you ever seen that Seinfeld when they had that... I think they had like no calorie yogurt, frozen yogurt, and everybody was just eating it. But yeah, they start gaining weight. It just didn't happen.
They lied.
They lied. Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny.
But
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I probably will continue to buy some of the lower alcohol IPAs, but I'm not sure. I would probably try some of the non-alcoholic IPAs, but I'm not sure that those would quite satisfy that IPA,
Yeah,
thing.
because yes, all joking aside, alcohol that's put in the beers and alcoholic beverages actually, that adds the flavor to it.
Yep.
So it makes a big deal.
Yep. Well, it is what it is.
It
Dave.
is.
Yeah. All right. You want to wrap things up? Sound good?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say absolutely, but I'm like, I don't know I don't know if there's like a fine to any of these. I'm like trying to do math. If it was like $5, a lot.
This is the inflection point of the show.
Is it?
Yeah. We're gonna quietly quit.
Well, you're the goat of the show.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, Dave.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening and watching. If you don't mind, tell a friend. We'd love to grow the audience. You can find more information on our website
at nevertooseries.com
and on our social media at the NTS Podcast, at Gettr, Twitter, and Parler. Until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe. Does that make sense?